Hi and welcome to the Math Walkthrough on Cambridge IGCSE 2018 Paper 3 580 31. Question 1. Mr. Marr asks his mathematics class to complete a statistics project about books. Olga counts the number of letters in each of the last 50 words in the book she is reading. She has only counted the letters in 43 words so far. Her results for these 43 words are shown in the table below. The last 7 words in the book that Olga needs to add to the table are, and they all lived happily ever after. Complete the tally and frequency columns in the table. For the 7 words, 2 are 3-lettered, 2 more are 4-lettered, 2 more are 5-lettered, and the final one being 7-lettered. Next, find the range. The range is the maximum number of letters minus the minimum number of letters, which comes to 8. Next, find the median. The median is the average of the 25th and the 26th number of letters in each word. Question 1b. Billy asks 60 students in his school what their favorite type of book is. He has started to draw a pictogram to show his results. The science fiction row in the pictogram is complete. Complete the key. With 2.5 keys equaling 10, each key represents 4 books. Next, complete the pictogram. With each key representing 4 books, comedy, poetry, and music would have the frequencies 16, 3, and 9 respectively. As for romance and detective with frequency of 8 and 14, each would have 2 keys and 3.5 keys respectively. Next, write down the mode. It is comedy, being the one with the largest frequency. Next, work out how many more students chose detective books than music books. This is purely the difference between the two frequencies. Next, work out the fraction of students who did not choose romance books. This is 52 over 60, and in simplified form, 13 over 15. Question 2a. Write down the number 27,360,045 in figures. The numbers are 273,60045. Next, write down the 6 factors of 20. They are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. Next, write down a fraction that is equivalent to 7 over 9. This can be any multiple of 7 over 9. In the example, I've chosen 14 over 18. Next, write down a prime number between 30 and 40. This can be either 31 or 37. Question 2b. For each statement, insert 1 pair of brackets to make it correct. It is correct by placing the brackets at 5 minus 3. Next, insert 1 pair of brackets to make it correct for question B2. It is correct by placing the brackets at 3 plus 2. Next, find the cube root of 4913. You can use a calculator to get to 17. Question 3. 3 boys each have $600. Victor spends 40% of his $600. He spends the money in the ratio of clothes, books, and music, 10 to 2 to 3. Work out how much he spends on music. The first step involves identifying total spend being 40% of 600. The second step involves identifying the ratio of 3 out of a total of 15 against the total spend of $240. Question 3a2. Work out how much more he spends on clothes than books. This would be the difference in proportion spent on clothes against that on books. Next, Walter invests his $600 for 3 years at a rate of 4.5% per year compound interest. Calculate the interest Walter receives at the end of the 3 years. The compounded investment after 3 years is $600 times 1.045 to the order of 3. The interest received would be this minus $600. Question 3c. Xavier goes on holiday to Europe and changes his $600 into euros. He spends 325 euros whilst he is on holiday. When he gets home, he changes the euros he has left back into dollars. The exchange rate is $1 to 0.864 euro. Work out how many dollars he has left after his holiday. Give your answer correct to the nearest cent. Step 1 requires identifying the starting euro value, which is 600 times by the exchange rate. Next, we identify what is left against what is spent, and the equivalent dollars for what is brought back is taking 193.4 divided by 0.864. Question 4a. Write down the mathematical name for the quadrilateral PQRS. It is a rhombus. Next, write down the coordinates of S. It is the value 0 and minus 2. Next, measure the obtuse angle PSR. We will let X be the angle PSQ. Knowing that its tangent is 2.5, X is 68.2 degrees. Angle PSR is twice the angle of PSQ, this being 136.4 degrees. Next, measure the length of the line PQ. Being on electronic copy, I shall just name the measurement Y. Next, work out the parameter of the quadrilateral PQRS. As the rhombus is made out of 4 equal sides, the parameter is the value of 4y. Next, describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. This is a reflection against the y-axis. Next, describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle C. This is a rotation of 180 degrees with center at 0, 0. Next, on the grid, draw the image of triangle D after translation by the vector 1 and minus 2. This would be the blue triangle shown on the diagram, whereby D is being translated 1 grid to its right and 2 grids lower. Question 5. Lucy asks 12 people how many hours they each spent playing a computer game and the number of levels they each completed in 1 month. The results are shown in the table. Complete the scatter diagram. The first 8 points have been plotted for you. This would be the 4 additional blue plots on the diagram. Next, one person completes more levels per hour than any of the others. On the scatter diagram, put a ring around the point for this person. This is the point at the top left on the diagram. Next, what type of correlation does this scatter diagram show? With the number of levels completed increasing with increasing time, it is a positive correlation. Next, on the scatter diagram, draw a line of best fit. Excluding the 3 outliers, this would mean placing a straight line across as many plotted points and in keeping those that cannot be cut through to being a balance in quantity at its top and bottom sides. Next, another person, Monica, completed 19 levels but forgot to record the time spent playing. Use your line of best fit to estimate the number of hours that Monica spends playing. This would be identification of the value of X on the plotted line for where its Y is 19. Question 6. Georgiana is traveling by train from Red Town to Tanley. The price of a ticket is $13.50. Georgiana's ticket price is reduced by 1/3 because she is a student. Work out how much she pays for her ticket. Getting a reduction of 1/3 means she pays 2/3 of total. This amounts to $9. Next, Georgiana travels on 2 trains. The first train goes from Red Town to Salford. The second train goes from Salford to Tanley. She has written down some information about the times of her trains. Write 13:45 using the 12-hour clock. It translates to 1:45 p.m. Next, work out how long the first train should take to travel from Red Town to Salford. Give your answer in hours and minutes. The length of train travel can be obtained by subtracting its departure time from its arrival time. Next, the first train arrives at Salford 46 minutes late. By how many minutes has Georgiana missed her second train? The math gets us to 13 minutes. Question 6C. While Georgiana waits for the next train, she buys a cup of hot chocolate. Work out which cup of hot chocolate is the best value. Show all your working. The one with the best value would have its price per milliliter as being lowest. Next, the next train from Salford to Tanley is at 18:12. The journey is 76 kilometers and the train travels at an average speed of 48 kilometers per hour. Work out the time that the train arrives in Tanley. By adding the time of the journey to its start time, it arrives at 19:47. Question 7. The scale drawing shows the positions of Anika's house A and Bernhard's house B on a map. The scale is 1 centimeter, representing 300 meters. Work out the actual distance in meters between Anika's house and Bernhard's house. With the measured distance being 11 cm, this equates to 11 times 300, which is 3,300 meters. Next, measure the bearing of Bernhard's house from Anika's house. Using a protractor, it indicates 117 degrees. Next, using a straight edge and compasses only, construct the perpendicular bisector of AB. Show all your construction arcs. Start by positioning the compass a bit more than half the length of AB and inscribe the arcs from A and B. The bisector is a straight line that adjoins the two arc intersects. Next, Cordelia's house is the same distance from Anika's house and Bernhard's house and due south of Anika's house. Mark on the map the position of Cordelia's house and label this point C. This would be the point of intersect between the vertical line that cuts across A and the bisector. Next, Doggie's house is on a bearing of 320 degrees from Bernhard's house and 1,650 meters from Anika's house. Mark on the map the two possible positions of Doggie's house. Label each of these points D. The first point would mean plotting a straight line from the points B at the bearing of 320 degrees. The second point would require positioning the compass at 5.5 centimeters apart and inscribing an arc from the point A. The required points D are the intersects of the straight line against this arc. Question 8. Three children from the same family travel from their home to the same school. Caroline cycles to school, Rob runs to school, and William walks to school. The travel graph shows the journeys to school for Caroline and Rob. Rob leaves home before Caroline. Explain what is happening when the two lines intersect on the travel graph. This is the occasion when Caroline catches up with Rob. Next, work out Rob's speed in kilometers per hour. Speed being a measure of distance over time leads us to this being 9.6 kilometers per hour. Next, William leaves home at 7:25. He walks to school at a constant speed of 6 kilometers per hour. On the grid, draw William's journey. This is the blue line that starts at 7:25 and cuts at 6 kilometers at 8:25. Next, at what time is the distance between Rob and William greatest? This would be the time when the vertical distance between the lines representing Rob and William is at its furthest, this being 8 o'clock. Next, complete this list of names in the order they arrive at school. From the endpoints on the diagram, first will apply to Caroline, second to William, and third to Rob. Question 9. A, B, and C are points on the circumference of a circle center O. Write down the mathematical name for the straight line AC. It is the diameter. Next, write down the mathematical name for the straight line AB. This is the chord. Next, give a geometrical reason why angle ABC is 90 degrees. The angle made from two ends of the diameter at the circumference is always at a right angle. Next, with AB being 20 centimeters and AC being 52 centimeters, use trigonometry to calculate angle BAC. With cos of this angle being equal to 20 over 52, the angle is 67.4 degrees. Next, show that BC is 48 cm. We can show this by applying the Pythagoras formula. Next, work out the area of triangle ABC. The area is the product of half and its base, width, and height components. Next, work out the total shaded area. The shaded area can be calculated by subtracting the area of the semicircle with the area of the triangle ABC. Question 10a. Write down the gradient of the line y equals minus 4x plus 7. The gradient is minus 4. Next, write down the equation of a line parallel to y equals 2x plus 3. It means a line that has a similar gradient, y equals 2x being one of them. Next, write down the coordinates of the point where the graph of y equals 6x minus 5 crosses the y-axis. This is the coordinates 0 and minus 5. Next, the point K and 7 lies on the line y equals 4x minus 3. Find the value of k. By inserting the coordinates into the equation, we can then solve for the value of k. Question 10b. Complete the table of values for the given equation. They come to 1, minus 5, minus 3, 1, and 7 respectively. Next on the grid, draw the graph of the given equation. This would be plotting the coordinates on the table. Next, write down the coordinates of the lowest point on the graph. As there's observed symmetry for where x is at 0.5, we could calculate for y using its equation. This leads to the required coordinate being 0.5 and minus 5.25. Next, on the grid, draw the line of symmetry of the graph. As mentioned, this is the line of x equals half. Next, write down the equation of this line. Also, as mentioned, this is x equals half. We have reached the end of this walkthrough. Do be on the lookout of our other walkthroughs if you found this beneficial.